Hey, it's Wednesday in the Arena with Dr. Pamela, and I'm Dr. Pamela. Welcome to my private arena. Come on in. So today I have 3 tips for you on how to reduce chemicals in your horse's life, in their world. I just had a client who lost a horse, and I am so sad because we knew she wasn't doing well. We had her doing much better. She was responding to our holistic protocol, and she was out in the pasture, and they came and sprayed the agriculture chemicals again, and she went downhill, and we lost her. And I am super sad because here's the thing. This stuff is preventable. You know, I don't want to get into the whole agriculture chemical thing because I will go on a tangent about it, because if you haven't heard my story, you know, my best mare got sprayed by chemicals and I was able to keep her going for several more years, but ultimately it did shorten her life. And I'm super passionate about this. I want to share 3 tips with you so you can reduce chemicals in your horse's life, because here's the thing is we don't always have control, right? Like, we don't have control over what the neighbor is doing and spraying, and who knows what's in the air and the pollution and the wildfire smoke that we have no control over, right? But there are some things that we do have control over. So I want to give you 3 tips today on things you can do to reduce chemical exposure in your horse. And the first one is stop using chemical fly sprays. And I hear people say all the time, oh, but I can't ride if I don't put fly sprays on and blah, 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 blah. Well, that's fine. But if you're going to use a chemical fly spray to ride, make sure you hose the horse off afterwards and put some fly gear on him. Put some fly gear on to keep the flies off. I have people say, oh, the all-natural stuff doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work if you don't use it liberally and if you don't put it on multiple times a day. I get that. So I just put on the fly gear, and it helps a whole lot. I had a client years ago that had a stallion that they sprayed all the time with that piranha stuff that comes in the yellow bottle, and he'd been to a bunch of horse shows where they were using the aerosol piranha. Well, he ended up becoming severely allergic to it because it just kept building up and building up. Because remember, folks, the skin is the largest organ, right? So you can't just keep putting this stuff on over and over and over every day and not take it off. So that is my number 1 thing. Stop using the chemical fly sprays. And the chemical fly spray systems are the worst, because I have actually seen several horses develop neurological issues and ultimately had to be put down because they weren't rideable. They weren't safe to ride because of the neurological issues caused by those overhead chemical fly spray systems, because those chemicals are even more potent than the chemicals in the spray bottles. Okay, so that number 1, please stop using chemical fly sprays. Number 2, we can stop using chemical wormers. And here's the thing is, back when I was in the show barns, they were chemical worming these horses every other month. They don't need that. Horses living in a stall, eating off a padded mat or out of a feeder, they don't need to be wormed every other month. Do fecals. Find out the worm count and, the egg count in your horse's manure, and find out what kind of worms they have, so that you're not even doing the wrong kind of chemical wormer that's not working. So then you're like, I got to do more, right? And find alternative solutions. If you need help with that, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you find some all-natural solutions. And there's several different things you can do. And it just depends on the horse and the situation and the environment and where you're at, which is why I test for everything. If you want me to test your horse, reach out to me. Happy to do that. So number 2, stop using chemical wormers when you don't have to. can't say I don't ever use them, but I've used chemical wormers once in the last 15 years, and it was because my horses needed it because of their fecal count. But 15 years prior to that, their fecal counts were fine because they had a healthy immune system, they had a healthy gut, and guess what? Healthy horses don't get worms. Just a side note. Okay, and number 3, stop overly vaccinating your horses. I always say it's not what we do, it's how we do it. And it's not about the whole idea of vaccinating, it's about all the shit they put in it. And a lot of times those vaccines have heavy metals in them. And again, when you over-vaccinate, that stuff gets built up in the system. So if you're going to vaccinate, come up with a protocol, right? Come up with a protocol. I also recommend boost your horse's immune system for 10 days, run a titers test, and then see if the horse still needs to be vaccinated. But if you're going to vaccinate, support their system, support the injection site. There's a lot of things we can do. And I also don't recommend doing those 5 ways and 6 ways. I've actually seen horses have grand mal seizures after getting those 5 and 6 way shots. So if you're going to vaccinate, just do the single shot at a time, treat the injection area, support the immune system, support the gut, and then wait 2 weeks and do another one. So those are my top 3 tips for reducing chemicals, because I don't want you to have a dead horse like my client. Like it's just so sad to me that we just keep spraying this planet with chemicals and things are happening and people don't even realize it. Like I hear people all the time say, oh, my horse just like magically got this abscess. Well, horses detox through their feet, so they had some exposure and we just like chalk it off to, oh, this is normal. It doesn't have to be normal. So reduce chemical fly sprays, reduce chemical wormers, and don't overly vaccinate. And until next time, enjoy your horse.